Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Silver is front and off center at Biden's address to Congress. Let's explore.
Mitch and Chuck will understand it's good to be almost home. Down the hall. Anyway, thank you all. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President. No president has ever said those words from this podium. No president has ever said those words. And it's about time.
There we have it. There you saw it. Biden's speech. I didn't watch it, but many people thought it was kind of boring. But apparently there's this display, and apparently this has been shown, I guess, in previous addresses to Congress, but I've never noticed it or seen it. But nonetheless, this was quite an interesting story that has brought the attention of some people on Twitter and the like. But what was that silver display in front of Pelosi during Biden's address? In this article from 9news.com, people spotted the silver display in front of the House Speaker during Biden's address. Immediately were asking what it was. It's quite a bit of history, apparently. I think that's what's fascinating about it. What was the silver display that was sitting in front of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi during President Joe Biden's address to Congress on Wednesday night? Lots of people were Googling it and asking on social media. I don't know what that silver thing right in front of Speaker Pelosi is, asked James Follows. It looks like a crown, asked another person. Perhaps a martini set or an inkwell, asked Joe Burling or something. Well, according to the House of Representatives website, it is a coin silver inkstand that is placed in the rostrum before the Speaker calls each session of the House to order. So apparently it's there a lot. I've never noticed it. It was created sometime around 1815 by Jacob Leonard. The inkstand is considered the oldest surviving artifact of the House and was made between 1810 and 1820, the House website said. Although its origins are mysterious, it most likely came into the House around 1819. The inkstand is stamped with the mark of J. Leonard, which is a Washington silversmith and watchmaker. For those who don't know, coin silver is 90% silver, because that's the percentage of silver that is in our coins, or was in our coins at one time. The House said the inkstand contains 3 replacement crystal inkwells and is adorned on both sides by swags and eagles. The feet of the tray take the form of fasces with snakes winding around them, classical symbols of unity and wisdom, respectively. Pelosi sat next to Vice President Kamala Harris on the rostrum behind President Biden during the joint address. Although Pelosi has sat there before as Speaker of the House, it marks the first time 2 women have sat on the dais during a presidential address, as Harris is the first woman to hold the office of Vice President. So there it is. Fascinating
Tonight,
to see.
a stern warning that you have to
hear.
Let's
see a little bit more about what this is about here. Maker Jacob Leonard, circa 1815. Before the Speaker calls each session of the House to order, the coin silver inkstand is placed on the rostrum. The inkstand is considered the oldest surviving artifact, made somewhere between 1810 and 1820. So basically this is from the website. We can take a look at different pictures of it. This is a great photo that shows it. Very interesting indeed. And this is made of silver and placed just off in front of Nancy Pelosi's, where she sat there. But I'd like to see I haven't looked back to see if it was in previous sessions of Congress, but there we can see the maker's mark, J. Leonard there. Fascinating indeed. Let's take a look at this with the fascia and the snake around it, which is also, I believe, utilized for medical and the medical profession as well. There it is. Fascinating indeed. Let's see if there's any more photos that we can see. Here is the eagle. Very, very cool to see that. The eagle on the front of it. a priceless treasure. Amazing indeed. So that is the oldest artifact in the House of Representatives that is displayed. And, symbology is very important in the House of Representatives and the Speaker. Some of the pins that she wore showing the power of the speakership. And of course, symbolism is also important because the Speaker of the House tore up President Trump's speech last year when he awarded the Medal of Freedom after he had awarded the Medal of Freedom to Rush Limbaugh. But nonetheless, there it is. As most of you know, I'm not a fan of this presidency and the policies that this presidency embraces, and as such with the Speaker of the House and Vice President. But I thought this was an interesting and fascinating story about this particular object that I was never aware of. Guess maybe I never paid attention, but I wonder if it was ever brought up and asked about in prior addresses, or if this is the first time in quite a while that it had been used during an address as such. Maybe as a history-making moment, they thought they would bring it out for this particular session, even though it's used for a quorum there, as it's maybe the presidential address is an exception to the rule where it is placed out. But nonetheless, a fascinating piece of history, and the fact that it's made of silver, I think lets us know that silver is indeed front and off-center, because it was not at the center of the podium there, where the cameras were looking, and the fact that, hey, something valuable and made of silver is always kind of cool to see still utilized here. And this House of Representatives, which of course nowadays is front and center with further devaluing a dollar by further increasing deficit spending, and they've been doing that for quite a long time. It's a bipartisan problem, so that means that this thing, just the melt value of this thing, will eventually go up because of it, and it has gone up quite tremendously since 1815 when it was probably made. There you have it. What are your thoughts? Kind of interesting piece of history here from the archives of the House of Representatives here. So post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.